Well, hello and welcome to another devlog. It's been a long time since I made a video, but in all fairness, I've been very busy working on my game and very busy not making videos when I could have been using that time to build content in the game. So I reckon that's a trade-off I'll take. I've got a bunch of stuff to show off here, but starting with one of the biggest problems I've faced in my game development journey so far has now officially been solved. I actually solved this more than a month ago, but I've been working on the game. But I have meant to make a video about it because I think it's important, and it's something I did not find a solution for online, no matter how many forums I trawled through. It was something that I eventually discovered purely by accident. So we'll start play from here. You'll see that the interior lighting is looking really nice and natural now. I'm very, very happy with that. But when we switch a light on, see that spotlight that appears on the wall directly in front of me? And then depending on where you're standing, it disappears again. Could not figure that out for the life of me. But I have now figured it out. So if you give me a second, I'm going to make a tiny little change to the code. There we go, and we're going to start play again. Now watch what happens when I turn on the light. Problem's gone. So here's what the solution is. These lights, these individual lights, let me get the, oh God, stupid software. Let me get the code up here. Consists of both a physical light model and a light source. Now the light source is just a light. In other words, it radiates light outwards from it in a downward direction because it's a rectangular light with the barn door effect you can see there to control how the light spreads. But that alone doesn't give the impression of light. What we have here is a physical model of light, and you'll see just inside here there's what I imagine would be like a bunch of little LEDs that actually form up the light. Now the trick is to get those to glow as well, and in order to do that we had to use something called emissive strength, which I've got set here somewhere. Am I looking in the right section? Yeah, so here we go, create dynamic material instance. In other words, we're creating a new instance of the material that's going to glow when you switch the light on, and here we're setting the emissive strength. Now you'll see it's set to 0.5 at the moment. It was set to 20. If I set it back to 20 again, there's two settings that need to be changed because there's two lights in the ceiling. If you look up here, you can see them. Now, with this, now with this set back to 20, you'll see the problem immediately comes back. Now what's happening here, I think, is this. The actual light source that radiates light downwards, so downwards if you follow my mouse cursor like in this direction, is unidirectional, like it's only radiating light out downwards. The emissive material radiates light outwards in a 360-degree sphere around it. And what is happening is it's bleeding into the mesh, and wherever there's problems inside the mesh, that light comes shining through. So what I've done is not actually solve the problem. To solve the problem, I would have to redesign every single mesh in the game, because as is the case with almost everything to do with learning Unreal Engine, it's been a learning experience. And all of my successes are built on the rubble of the failures in the past. So for me to go and redesign all the meshes would be so much work. I'm actually just not prepared to do it. So by turning the emissive strength of the lights down to 0.5, I'll just set this here, they're still glowing enough that you can see that there are lights and that they're on, which is all I really wanted to do. Initially, I had that value set up so high because I really liked the kind of nimbus of light around the light source. You know, it looked like it was glowing, and but I mean, that was what was causing the problem. This still looks like a light, and the problem is gone. So that is something I can tick off my list. Actually, if you look around the kitchen, you'll realize how much decorating work I've done. There's like throw rugs in almost every room in the house. There's bookcases. This is just the cottage. There's still some work to be done. Yeah, I made these rooms too big, but you know what? It is what it is. Okay, that's that. The next thing I want to show off is this, which is the cave. The cave is now no longer just a little test platform that you can walk onto. It's now an actual room. Now, the first thing you'll notice is it's dark. That's because it's a cave. If I have to switch my flashlight on, you'll also hear that the sound that the flashlight makes has an echo, as do the footsteps of the character. So for now, there's nothing in here really. It's just a little tunnel. The main reason I started doing this actually was to try and figure out sound occlusion and reverb and that kind of thing, which I've now done just for these two sounds, the footsteps and the torch. I used the background ambience of the house, which is probably just going to be a placeholder for now, but also added in a kind of random water drip. That code runs in its own sound source and seems to work fine. Okay, so that's the cave. We'll exit out of there. Next on my list of stuff to show off is this. Okay, there is now a doorbell. Now, I can't put the doorbell right next to the door, unfortunately, because the collision box of the door would overlap the collision box of the doorbell. So it's kind of off to the side. It's one of those little trade-offs that I reckon I'm happy with. So you can ring the doorbell. You have to wait for it to stop ringing before you can ring it again. And also there's a randomness to the how long a gap there is between the ding and the dong. The cool thing is, when you're in the house and you're just wandering around, I can trigger it, which is going to lead the player. I'm always on the lookout for things that are going to lead the player in certain directions, and that's one of them. So the doorbell, yeah, I'm quite happy with the way it works. If we go into this room here, you'll see the further I get you away, the more occluded the sound becomes, which is nice, but you can still hear it. There was a lot of fine tuning and tweaking going on in there. I think the pillars are new as well since the last time. Since we're in here, I can also say that I've added this in for testing purposes, as is always the case. Like, everything is in the player's inventory from scratch. That model is garbage, it needs to go, but I'll get there. But yes, there's now a lighter, which you will need to be able to light a fire, and the lighter at the moment is here on this counter. The already in inventory safeguard kicks in now because it is already in my inventory, but yes, it's an actual physical object that you need to find before you can light fires now. So the next thing that I'm quite happy with is this. Let's just open a couple of doors. And we'll stand where we can see the doors, at least a couple of them. And check this out. Yes, I can slam doors now. They have their own animation curve, which means because they move faster, and their own sound effect. This one is particularly tricky to get to work because of the cat flap. Oh, that's the other thing. Once the door is slammed, it's stuck. I can fix that just by pressing the event dispatch key again. So yeah, you'll see this door has always had that thing with the cat flap, but now when we slam it, I had to redesign that curve. It's hard to see it, but trust me, it's there and it's working. I can also remotely open and close the doors, like so. You have to be careful with timing here because some of the doors only become addressable later than others. For instance, if they have extra bits of animation or code attached to them, like the one of the cat flap. But yeah, they can open and close and slam, and also each door is individually addressable, or I can like address a group of them just by calling them sequentially. So that's pretty cool. And then the last new thing, I'm sure there's actually plenty more new things I've added since my last video, but the last thing I have on my list to show off is these fabulous AI generated paintings. The original paintings that I showed off way back in the beginning when I started, I'm not sure if I'm going to end up using them. I still really like them. I still think they're very effective. They're all in this room now. But here's the thing. I'm going to move the mouse around and then activate them, and you'll see what happens. It genuinely... See, now it didn't even activate... Oh, it did activate all of them. It's just struggling to play them all at once. See, that's the thing. Each one of these is technically a video player, and running however many paintings there are in here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Running 12 videos at once is taxing. So I have them in here at the moment as a kind of display thing, and I might end up using them, I might not. But yeah, let's just switch those off again. We've got to wait until it gets to the end of the animation cycle, and then it should stop. There we go. And you'll see performance is back to normal now as well. So anyway, back to these paintings. The way I've got them set up at the moment is like this. So nothing will happen until the player blinks, and then they'll change. But the thing is, they'll change to something that's fairly similar to what they were before. You may not even have noticed this one change, but if I stand directly in front of it, on the next blink, it'll change. See, the idea is that the player is going to be walking around and the stuff will be triggered every now and again, and you'll maybe catch it out of the corner of your eye as you're turning, for instance, like this, as soon as the player blinks again. And then you'll go, hang on a second, and then, you know, while you're looking somewhere else, it'll flip back again. We'll just look at this one now so you can see. So the way these work is there's one base painting and 4 variants. What will happen is, as soon as an event dispatch is called, the game will choose one of the 4 variants, and then during a blink it will change each painting to one of the 4 variants. On the next event dispatch and blink, it'll change back to the original painting. So you'll see here, that's the original painting. There's the variant. And as soon as we blink again, we'll go back to the original painting, like so. But then, I'm going to open up the code here so you can see what's going on. Actually it'll be in the player blueprint. The player blueprint now has a section here called flip painting. So you'll see painting flip during blink is the master control. That's what we set to let the game know that something needs to happen during the blink code. And then there's scary paintings flip, which I'm going to show you in a second. Scary paintings flip back. I'll show you that as well. And then painting in flipped state just keeps track of whether the painting has been flipped or not. So scary painting flip is now going to, we'll just compile this. Instead of flipping to a similar variant, it's going to flip to something really unpleasant. So let the game just get started, and we'll trigger a flip. And there we go. So now we have all this lovely, charming stuff. Very, very nice. And if we do another flip, it's interesting. You'll see it's not flipping back to what it's supposed to flip back to. Now, it's supposed to flip back, but that might be because of whatever state I have this set in. Yes, you see, scary paintings flip back to normal is set to negative. So at that point on, it'll just keep flipping between the 5 scary painting variants. But if this one is set to positive, sorry, I must have forgotten that I left it saved like that because I was testing. So now, if we flip to a scary painting, and we flip back again, you'll see it's back to normal. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much all I've got on my list. There's been so many little things that I've added. Continuous improvements to lighting quality, more interactable objects, although not too many of those. I'm still working on those. There's throw rugs down. I've redone all the art in the passage, but since I started making these scary paintings, there's another one in the master bedroom, I think. Yeah, a nice cubist piece of art, and then if we blink, it's going to change to something really terrible. I can't remember what I went with for these ones. Oh yes, Scenes of Hell. Lovely stuff. So we'll just flip back, and it'll be back to normal. There's photos all over the place as well. It's a photo of my girlfriend that I took, oh my god, like 15, 16 years ago now. That's a photo of one of the bands I was in. I don't know how many other photos are going to stay. I really do like the wildlife photos. If you see wildlife photos in the game, I took them myself. Those are not AI generated, they're very much real. And these photos like this, I took that photo here in Abu Dhabi, and that one, and the elephants, and so forth and so on. So I'll probably keep those. Whether or not I want to make them flip to something, I'm not sure yet. I need to make a lot of paintings. That's going to be my task for the next couple of days. And that is about it. I can't really think of anything else I want to show. Oh, there is one thing. There's one more thing that I want to show off, and it's a small thing. We just got to remember how to trigger a thunderstorm. Okay, this will take a minute or so to trigger. Never mind the bad performance now, it's just because the game is running in engine and I basically just told it to change the weather. So let's run outside, we can watch the sky change. Let's make it kind of a little bit later in the day as well while we're waiting for the rain to start. So that darkens a bit. Actually, I think the best place to show this off will be the greenhouse. Another thing that I've done is the normal daytime ambience will now fade out and disappear when any set of weather conditions is triggered that has its own sound effects. Oh dear, I don't know if you can see there on the top of the screen, preparing shaders. I don't know why the game has decided now is a good time to prepare shaders, but anyway, it doesn't matter. This is what I wanted to show you. Notice the trails of water running down the glass, which I think looks really, really cool. That was just something else I managed to add in once I knew that it was there. I actually messaged the dev who made the lighting and weather system and asked him an unrelated question, which he answered within an hour, which impressed me tremendously and solved my problem completely. As a matter of fact, I can show that off as well. Let's change over from rain to snow, and I'll show you that as well. We'll just take a walk around while we're waiting for that to happen. So you can see the rain droplets that streak down the windows affects basically every window in the house. Now the rain will stop. So the question that I posed to the guy who made Ultra Dynamic Sky and Ultra Dynamic Weather, which is two parts of the same plugin just called Ultra Dynamic Sky. The question that I posed to him, one of the questions I posed to him, was about how snow appears on grass. For some reason, only grass that was on a slope would get covered in snow, and I could not figure out why. Yeah, I'm seeing here that the particle system is not playing. It's not triggering properly. Now this could just be a shader thing. It's a little worrying. I'm not quite sure why it's doing that, but anyway, you'll see now that the grass is actually getting covered in snow as well, which I'm very pleased about. You know what, as a matter of fact, I'm going to pause this recording. Let's just exit out. We will let the shaders finish preparing and then we'll come back to this.
One eternity later.
Okay, I'm back. The game has finished generating shaders. Hopefully the weather will display properly now. Let's go straight in and trigger snow. It'll take a minute, obviously. You may have noticed this as well while waiting for the snow. I was thinking about putting a well in, maybe have it boarded up, and then possibly connect the cave system to the bottom of the well. But that requires me to cut holes in the landscape, which I did for the basement of the house, so that I wouldn't have, you know, like chunks of the landscape clipping through the walls of the basement. And it gave me so many problems and so many patches that I had to fill in. There's like rocks everywhere to block the holes so that you can't see them from the outside of the house. Okay, yeah, but now you can see the snow is rendering again properly. So yeah, as far as the well's concerned, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do yet. But yeah, now you'll see as the snow is falling, the grass gets nice and uniformly covered. It takes a while, obviously. Insofar as I've been including little Easter eggs into the game that are references to my favorite horror movies, we have a statue of Pazuzu. And the game is just going to freeze for no apparent reason. We have a statue of Pazuzu. If you've ever seen The Exorcist, you'll know exactly what this is. I purchased this model for $1 US and then had to texture it myself. I think it came out pretty well. You'll see just this unpleasant statue, and when you look at it, you're compelled by the power of Chris. Yes, I know, bad joke, and it's just placeholder text. I'm still toying with the idea of voicing the entire game. I have a whole idea of what I'm going to do as an intro movie. I say movie, I'm playing with several ideas involving AI generation and old stock footage of scenery going past the window of a moving car and a whole bunch of stuff, but that's in its infancy yet, so I don't really want to discuss it too much. Outside here, I don't know if I showed off the barn. Yeah, I've got a little outdoor barbecue area, which I think is quite nice. The game is really struggling today. I'm not sure what's going on. I think it's because I have OBS running in the background. Yeah, a little outdoor barbecue area, and then here past the tennis courts we have this old dilapidated barn. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I just really like the way it looks, and I like when you're inside it, the pattern of light that comes through, it looks really good. You can see everything in the barn is getting covered with snow. Ooh, except these two pieces. These two pieces, I need to make adjustments so that they get covered with snow as well. It's actually good that I saw that now. Anyway, that's it. Again, I'm not doing a whole lot of these devlogs because I'd rather be spending my time working on the game, but I'm very glad I did this one. The issue that I solved that I was talking about in the very beginning with emissive materials bleeding light through meshes. If anyone manages to find that solution helps them in their own project, please drop a comment and let me know about it. I'd very much like to hear about that. But that's about it. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.